In this episode, I'm going to talk about my panel build on my Champion boat. It's Champion 202 DC dual console. We got our panel. This is broken, so I had to get another panel to replace my old panel. On these switches, so I took this switch out and I bought new switches. They come with a key. Okay, so on the side of the switch somewhere there's gonna be some writing. So this one's it's like B1D1. So here's our key. So right here, V1D1, and then it gives us our key. So N is 2, positive out is 3, and up there 7 is negative. And that's just an on-off switch. That's all it is. And my new panel, you know, I started to swap everything over. Just look on here. It says like it's actually got 4 poles on it. So what did it say? 2 and 3. 2 and 3, and 7 is negative. This one says 4, but this got to be it right there. So I got a new panel for that, or panel. Well, I call it a panel, but it's a rocker switch cover. Sorry. So this is the cover. So when I'm looking at that key, that's 2 and 3. So I believe this should go on there just like this. Alright, so maybe how you want it to sit in the slot, you got to determine whether this is on or off. Because you know you want it to be like on. And you just take a meter. If you're unsure, you can figure out which way the switch goes. Let's put it on continuity. So that's on. And I think if I go this way, yeah, see, it's off. So the rocker cover wants to go, you want it to be this way. So it should just pop right in there. You know, just don't break it, you know, go real easy. So now that's in there. So I should be able to just pop this now into my new panel. And then, so for my wires, this is negative, so start with that one. And then here's our hot wire. Probably make it easier if you got a pair of. So there's that one, and this would be the through. And I just popped the rocker switches out. I bought a couple of rocker switches that had LEDs. I had a couple that had LEDs and a couple that didn't. I popped out this guy. That's our aerate live well. So now my next switch, I just got to look up my key and I can find out how this is configured. Here's the kind of the finished deal. So, you know, replace the rockers, a couple of these rocker switches. These were illuminated already, so I just got new rocker switch covers etched, and so we got power, navigation lights, red horn. This doesn't light up, although maybe one day I'll buy one that lights up, but I don't need it for a horn. And then we got our live well, got our timer in place, so you got to fill, and then you got the aerate is down here, and then I got my timer that's in the boat that I bought, and it's really cool. You basically have a wire that you I forget which wire now. See, if I remember right, yellow was load, yeah, and white. So white, you just ground it, and then it turns on a Wi-Fi signal, and then from a smartphone or from your laptop, say, then you can log on to that Wi-Fi signal, type in an address in a web page, Firefox, Safari, any of that stuff, and but then it'll give you the configuration page, and you got 4 times on it. And so the first one, you can say, I want it, anywhere, I guess however many, it's in seconds, right? So you can do, I think you did 2 hours or something. But so I set mine to like 3 minutes on, and you can set your duty cycle. So if you don't want to run the pump wide open, like I set mine for 3 minutes at 50% duty cycle, and then my second setting, I put it for 3 minutes, and then I set the duty cycle to 0, so it's not even on. And then basically, and then my third one I set for 3 minutes and set it to 50% duty cycle, and my fourth one I turned it off. Now when I get on the lake, then I can adjust those settings with the live wells full up with water, and kind of maybe look at that. And it's pretty cool. You just take a little gator clip wire with you, or you could put a switch in line. And if I did that, I'd have to tuck the switch somewhere and find a place for it. Anyway, that's something that I'll do on the lake. But yeah, it turned out really good. These are breakers. Champion made these, or well, they didn't make them. It's probably made by, who knows, Motorola. What is it, RU? Anyway, they're rated at like 125 volts AC, so but it's still a DC, 60 hertz. So anyway, that's a breaker. So this is a great idea actually. When I first looked at it, I was like, but if you ever had a circuit break, then it would pop here, and you could just push the button and then reset your breaker. My bus bar is going to be back in the bay, and I'll just set it for a larger breaker size for this, and then I have breakers here for each of the individual things. Still a 20 amp breaker here, there's like a 5 amp breaker here, aerate's a 5 amp breaker, it's a 5 amp breaker, bilge, I don't know, 5 amp breaker. I have to look at each one. So now I'm just ready to put this back in the boat. That's done. So now I checked my navigation lights. They're all working. I didn't show popping these out. It's real simple. Like here's an old one. So you see those 2 tabs right there. So when they're in the panel, they're in kind of like, see the 2 tabs right there? They're just here and here. If you look at these breakers, just so you know, they're kind of double tabbed. So you could, like if you squeezed up here, you could pull this part out, because that's where the wiper is. See what I mean? So here's your tabs down here to pull it in and out of the panel. You don't want to break these up. You could think, well, I could pop it here, right? But that's where you would replace a wiper. because you could refurb these. But anyway, just get a small screwdriver and push these tabs in, and if you kind of look, there's, like on these, there's 2 little tabs. You'll see them. But anyway, you just take a screwdriver, you push in, and then on both sides, and just work them out